Chapter 7. Finish what you start. No matter what. How many things have you started and not finished? Count them. The online courses you bought and watched 2 lessons of. The books you started and abandoned at Chapter 3. The workout programs you began with enthusiasm and quit after 2 weeks. The business ideas you researched and never launched. The projects you started and let die in a half-finished state. How many? If you're honest, the number is staggering. Dozens, maybe hundreds. A graveyard of abandoned intentions stretching back years. And every single one of them is destroying you. Incomplete projects aren't just tasks. They're evidence you present to yourself that you're unreliable. Every abandoned goal is data, information your brain uses to construct your identity. And right now, the data says you don't finish things, that you start enthusiastically but lack the fortitude to follow through, that your commitments expire the moment they become difficult, or boring, or inconvenient. Every half-finished course is a vote against your own capability. Every gym membership you paid for and stopped using is evidence that you can't be trusted. Every project you let die is proof that you quit. This accumulated evidence creates a self-concept of someone who starts enthusiastically, but lacks the fortitude to finish. And once that self-concept is established, it becomes self-fulfilling. Because when you start something new, you already know, based on your history, that you probably won't finish it. So the motivation is contaminated. From the beginning, there's a voice in the back of your mind saying, "Yeah, but you'll quit this too. You always do, and you do, because you've trained yourself to." That's the key. Your inability to finish isn't a personality trait. It's not genetics. It's not a lack of willpower or bad luck. It's a pattern you've reinforced so many times that it's become your default response to difficulty. When something stops being new and exciting, you abandon it. When progress slows, you lose interest. When the initial enthusiasm fades and you're left with the grinding middle section where nothing feels rewarding, you quit. And then you start something else, something new, something that promises to be different this time, something that reignites that feeling of possibility. And the cycle repeats. Start, enthusiasm, difficulty, quit. Start something new. You're not building anything. You're collecting evidence of your own unreliability. The gap between intention and completion is where self-respect dies. Think about what happens every time you quit. You made a commitment to yourself. You had a goal, a plan, a vision of who you'd become if you followed through. And then you stopped. You abandoned it. You broke your word to yourself. Most people underestimate the psychological cost of quitting. They think it's just about that one goal, that one project. It's not. Each time you abandon a commitment, you damage the most important relationship you have, the one with yourself. You teach yourself that your word means nothing, that when you say you're going to do something, it's provisional, temporary, subject to change the moment you don't feel like doing it anymore. You erode the foundation of self-trust, the belief that when you commit to something, you'll follow through, that your intentions have weight, that you can count on yourself. And without that foundation, nothing works, because everything meaningful requires sustained effort over time, and sustained effort requires that you believe you're capable of sustaining it. But you don't believe that anymore. You've given yourself too much evidence to the contrary. This is why motivation fades. Not because motivation is inherently temporary, but because you've trained yourself not to trust your own word. So new goals feel meaningless before you even begin. When you start something new now, there's no excitement, no belief, just the hollow recognition that you'll probably quit this too, just like everything else. That's what a history of not finishing creates. Not just abandoned projects, but the death of possibility itself. You have a choice. You can continue this pattern. You can keep starting things you don't finish, accumulating more evidence of your unreliability, making it progressively harder to believe you're capable of following through on anything. Or you can break the pattern, starting now. The protocol requires you to finish one thing before starting anything new. Not 5 things, not everything you've ever abandoned. One thing, the most recent project, habit, or goal you started and didn't complete. Go back through your history. What did you start most recently and abandon? What's the thing that's still sitting there, half done, mocking you every time you think about it? That's your target. For the next 30 days, you resurrect it and complete it. Not perfectly, not impressively, completely. You're not trying to do it better than you originally planned. You're not trying to overachieve or impress anyone. You're trying to cross the finish line, to prove to yourself that you can finish. Maybe it's the online course. You go back, you watch the remaining lessons, you do the assignments, you complete the final project. Even if it's mediocre, even if you've lost interest, you finish it. Maybe it's the book. You pick it back up, you read the remaining chapters, you get to the last page, even if it feels like a chore. You finish it. Maybe it's the fitness program. You restart it from wherever you quit. You complete the remaining weeks. You do every workout, even the ones you don't want to do. You finish it. You cross the finish line even if it's messy, even if no one cares. Because finishing builds the identity of a finisher. And that identity is the foundation of everything else. This isn't about the project itself. This isn't about whether the course was valuable or the book was good. This is about proving to yourself that you can complete something, that you can keep a commitment even when the excitement has faded, that you can push through the boring middle and reach the end. This is about installing new evidence. Evidence that contradicts the accumulated data of abandonment. Evidence that you can finish. And one completion is enough to start. One completed project begins to shift the identity. One finish line crossed starts to rebuild self-trust, because your brain doesn't need you to finish everything perfectly. It needs you to finish something. Period. That's the key. You don't need to go back and finish every abandoned project from your entire life. You need to finish one. Recently. Completely. To demonstrate that you're capable of doing it. Here's your 7th protocol assignment. Identify and complete your most recent abandonment. Right now, before you continue, write down the last thing you started and didn't finish. The project, course, book, program, habit, whatever it is, write it down. That's your only focus for the next 30 days. Everything else waits. You don't start anything new until this is done. No new courses, no new books, no new programs, nothing new. until you finish this one thing. You schedule it. You calendar specific time blocks dedicated solely to completing this project. And when those time blocks arrive, you execute. No negotiation. No, I'll do it later. You do it now. When it's boring, you do it anyway. When you're not motivated, you do it anyway. When it feels pointless, you do it anyway. Because this isn't about the value of the project. This is about the value of your word to yourself. And 30 days from now, you will have done something most people can't do. You will have resurrected something you abandoned and finished it. You'll have proof that you're capable of following through. Evidence that contradicts the pattern of quitting. A reference point you can return to when you start something new. And the voice of doubt says, "You won't finish this either." You'll be able to say, "Yes, I will, because I finished the last thing." I'm someone who finishes. It's not about motivation. It's about completion. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it completely. Because completion changes identity. Every time you cross a finish line, you become more of a finisher. Every time you keep a commitment, you become more trustworthy to yourself. And self-trust is the foundation of mental toughness. Without it, you have nothing. With it, you can build anything. This might be the most important chapter in this entire protocol, because if you can't finish things, nothing else matters. You can learn all the other principles, but if you don't follow through, none of it produces results. So, finish this one thing. Then start the next thing with the identity of someone who finishes. And watch how differently that feels. You've learned to act, to work in silence, to embrace discomfort, to control attention, to abandon proof-seeking, to choose imbalance, and now to finish. But your environment is still sabotaging everything you're trying to build.